Yo, this is Mike from Mike Motivation, CTM TV. I seen a post today. Shout out to Osyrus Bolly and shout out to Nate Logic for the dialogue. I wanted to make this video talking to the youth. 20 years ago, I was 20 years old, something like that. So I understand some of the mindset. I understand some of the thought that the youth don't have anything to do. Sometimes the parents can be restrictive or they're not doing anything, but this is what I will say to that. If your parents say don't go downtown tonight or don't do this, the question is, are you okay with the risk of what could happen? I got my notepad with me so I don't be all over the place. I like 4 points. First point, being around other personalities. Not everybody has the same mindset that you have. They don't have the same code or same standard that you go by or ethics. You have to realize that when you go to different places, you want to go hang out downtown, or you want to go to a club, or anything that you go hang out with people that's random, not from where you're from. Are you okay with that? The risk of being around other personalities that's not you, they don't think like you. Me and my buddies, shout out to Bolly, shout out to my boy LP, all my other buddies. We used to go to this club called Nightlife. And we didn't go in the club. We used to call it parking lot pimping, parking lot chilling. You would just sit on your car in the parking lot while everybody else going to the club. You just be outside chilling and talking and stuff, right? However, like me and LP, we knew everybody don't think like we do. Everybody not out here parking lot chilling. There are people out here that are looking to rob you, take your car, and take whatever you have. They're playing a different game, different personality. It don't matter if it's right or wrong. That's just what it is. That's reality, life. You have to understand that just because you don't think about doing it, that don't mean nobody else is. And that's what I'm saying. When you go places, everybody's personality is not the same. You have the risk of going places. You got to understand that. The next point, understanding the random part of a 50-50 situation. And what I mean 50-50, it can go either way. It's not 100% safe. It's not 100% you can make it home. Sometimes we think it is because it's like, oh, I'm just going to this park, But what you don't realize is other personalities there that don't think the same way that you do. They don't think, I'm not going to bring my gun with me today. They're not going to think, I'm just going to walk away if something happens. They don't think that. It's self-preservation for them. It's, if somebody try me today, it's going down. But the thing about a gun, bullets, it goes different way. It don't just go one way. It can go either way. So you have to think about that. And that's my point. Everybody don't think the same in every situation. Some people walk away. Some people say, I'm going to pull out a gun and let them know that I'm not the one to mess with. But what ends up happening is other people get hit. And that's why I'm trying to tell you that you don't even have to be a part of it. It's just because you was there and you can get hit. Something can happen. Sometimes, like say, people start running, you can get trampled. It happens. Third point, why parents try to keep you from random stuff? Because they understand when you live life and you get in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, and so you realize how fragile life is. And they probably dodged a lot of situations as well. And they're trying to keep you from having to go through that. Because guess what? Not only could something not happen to you, you might see something traumatic. People don't think about that. You may see somebody get killed, see them take their last breath. You might not be ready to see that kind of stuff yet at 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You may not be ready to see that. You might not be ready to see somebody walking with their arm hanging off because they got hit with a rifle. You know what I'm saying? You might not be ready to see somebody's guts hanging out their stomach because they done got hit, or their brains hanging out. You might not be ready to see that. But guess what? When you take that risk playing around with 50-50 situations, it can happen. I'm telling you, it can happen. So why is it a bad thing? Or why do you think it's bad if your parents try to keep you out of harm's way? I used to deal with this when I was younger. But when I got older, I'm just telling you from my experience, I'm trying to give you wisdom, is that they realize how fragile life is. Sometimes you don't get a second shot. It's like rolling the dice. Sometimes when you winning, you think, oh, I'm not gonna hit snake eyes. I'm not gonna crap out. But there are some times, and we all probably know this, somebody went out one time and they didn't make it back home. And they weren't even with the beef. They weren't with the stuff. They was hit in the crossfire. And they didn't make it back. That's how fragile life is. You may only get one roll of the dice. I'm just putting it in an analogy situation. But you may only get one roll of the dice, and you might not win. You may not hit. You may crap out. It can happen just like that. My last point is, you think it won't happen until it happens. Nobody says, you know what, when I go to this concert, it's gonna jump off and I'm gonna get hit in the crossfire. Nobody ever says that. I never heard nobody say that, because if they did, they wouldn't go. But you don't know. Those people that went to that concert downtown, they didn't know they was gonna get hit in the crossfire when they went to the Finesse 2 Times concert. They didn't know they was gonna get hit in the crossfire. They didn't know they was gonna get trampled that night. But guess what? When you leave the house, that's the risk that you take. It may sound harsh. You may think it sound mean. I'm telling you, that's how life went. That's how life go. Me and my bros, Osyrus Bolly, he can tell you. LP can tell you. We've been places, and we say hang out on Wright Avenue. Something happened. We get in the car. We dash out, and we say, man, we dodged one. Not everybody can say that. Some people get in the car, they try to dash out, shots ring out, and they look over, and their friend died. Just like that. It happens. And when you understand that, you realize the risk that it takes. But if it never happens, you just think it's not going to happen to you until it happens. Last analogy, and I'm going to tell you this. Jack be nimble, Jack be quick, Jack jump over the candlestick. The question is, how many times do you think you can jump over the candlestick at full strength? Every time you jump, you may start this high, you jump again, because your muscles, I'm talking from an analogy standpoint, only have so much energy in it, and it has to recover. But if you keep jumping back to back, just jumping, you're going to get closer to that flame. Some people think they can jump the flame until you try to jump and realize that the flame's going to burn you. And it could be your first jump. So don't think you so nimble and so quick all the time, because you might get hit by the candlestick, and that's life. This is Mike. I'm signing out. Shout out to Osyrus Bolly. Shout out to Nate Logic. Thanks to anybody who watched this all the way through. Let me know what you think. Anybody want to come talk to us on the podcast or have a conversation about this, send me a message. Michael Gray on Facebook, CTM TV on TikTok, Instagram, CTM TV LR on Facebook. Send a message. We do it on Mondays. We can do it other days throughout the week. If we get the times right, we can do it. But let us know. This is Mike. I'm signing out. Thanks for watching.